My guest tonight is a hilarious comedian and actress who hosts the Netflix series Nailed It, as well as 5 podcasts. Good God, 5, including Why Don't You Date Me? Her new book is called Very Fat, Very Brave. Please welcome our good friend, Nicole Byer. Nicole, we will get to the book in just a few minutes, but first of all, tell me, you look gorgeous. You look beautiful.
Thank you, Conan.
Yes, I love it. Regal. And how are you doing these days?
You know, honestly, I think most Black people have had a rough couple of weeks. It's been not fun, but also nice to see so many people feel emboldened to be in the streets with us, to be protesting with us. That feels good. But you know, it just sucks that another Black man was killed that was unarmed, and woman, Breonna Taylor. You know, it's up.
Yep. That's a good summation of not quite as eloquent as some of the speeches I've heard, but probably the most to the point.
Oh yeah.
Would you say that? And I don't want to lead you with this question, but is the reaction making you more hopeful, less hopeful? Where do you think you are personally?
I think the reaction makes me incredibly hopeful because I feel like too many people were radicalized who understand that we have been going through this shit for so long, for 450 years, the longest time. We got brought over. We weren't treated very nicely because slavery was bad. And then after slavery, Jim Crow, that was awful. I still have aunts who are still alive who remember segregation. That's insane to me. So I think a lot of white people's eyes were open. And that to me makes me so excited. My roommate is a very white man. Oh, he's so white. And he was going to protests with me and was explaining to his mom that police brutality is a real thing and it's awful. And then he went to a protest by himself. And then I came home and he was humming a chant from the protest and frying chicken. And I was like, did this go fully in the other direction? What is going on? But it's so nice.
Do you think maybe he went too far, or do you think it was still okay?
It was chicken nuggets. It wasn't fried chicken, deep fried chicken. So I was it's not super all the way there. He's just teetering around. But I appreciate it. I appreciate that he's going to protest alone. I appreciate that my white friends, for the most part, have not been bothering me. I got good white people in my life who are posting for each other shit they should read. Nobody's going, Nicole, what should I read? What should I be doing? They've been doing the work. My one friend, Eleanor, she sends me stuff. She'll be like, this protest is happening. And I'm like, this is an active ally, not a good ally. Because we need active allies. You can be as good as you want inside your house, but that's not going to do anything for anybody.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the things that I think about is, and I've been talking to a lot of different people in the last 2 weeks who've been telling me over and over again that Black people are tired of explaining their situation, that it's exhausting. And they're saying, you let people go out, do your homework, you do the work and get back to us. Or whatever you've got to do, but please stop asking us to explain over and over and over again as if this is a new phenomenon.
Yeah, it's not new. It's been around since everybody on this planet was born. Also, Google.com is filled with so much information. Yeah. And Black people, we've been talking about it for in my stand-up shows, I spend about 10 minutes talking about racial injustices and being racially profiled. I mean, it is comedy and it is funny. And every now and again at a meet and greet, I'll have someone be like, did that really happen to you? And I was like, why would I lie about that? It's a horrific experience that I found the humor in, because that's what Black people have been doing for the longest time. Awful shit happens to us, and then we turn it around and we make it fun and funny, because how else would we survive? Slaves sang songs because they had to find joy, even though they were living this horrible existence.
Right. It is interesting that people think, obviously, the last 2 weeks has been filled. It started with this horrific image of George Floyd's killing, and we went from there. But it is amazing to think that comedians like yourself are able to walk this sort of knife edge of talking about it, getting your feelings out about it, but also miraculously somehow making it very funny at times that might speak to people who might not otherwise hear you. You know, when it's interesting, it's amazing what comedy can do.
Yeah, like Chris Rock, this has been floating around. I think it was in his last special, but he was like, cops, a few bad apples. I'm butchering this man's joke, but it essentially was just like, what if American Airlines was like, we got a few bad apples. A couple of them like to crash into mountains. And it's like, yeah, why do we keep saying that a few bad apples is okay in a police department? No. A few bad apples. I had one bad apple in a bowl, and guess what? The rest of the apples tasted like shit. So I think that's what's happening.
Right. You talk a lot. You've talked about how racial inequality can manifest itself in healthcare, which is something probably a lot of people aren't fully aware of. They're aware of. We hear about the more overt, blatant forms of racial inequality, but healthcare, it can be a way, and you've experienced that yourself.
Oh yeah, I fully flew off a motorcycle in December. I was taking my road test and I failed it in maybe the most spectacular way. And I was limping and I had this huge gash in my leg, and I went to urgent care and they took an x-ray and they were like, here's some crutches and here's a great recommendation of an ice pack. And I was like, that's it? And they were like, we don't think you need any more. And then like 2 weeks later, I was in Buffalo, New York with one of my dear friends, Christy, and she had a sinus infection. So she went to urgent care, and then they gave her like Tylenol, codeine, a Z-Pack, and like all this shit. And I was like, wait, what? And then I started doing literally the slightest amount of research. I went to my friend Google.com and Googled this, and apparently it stems from like slavery times where people were like, Black people heal faster, they're stronger, they don't experience pain. And it was to make white people feel better about trading human beings and whipping human beings. And Black women specifically get the least amount of care. We die sometimes in like awful ways. Like there was a woman, she was a teacher in Brooklyn, I believe. She went to the hospital. She said she had shortness of breath. She wasn't feeling good. She thought she had COVID-19. They sent her home. She called an ambulance to her house. They said she was fine. And then she made her way to the hospital, was on a ventilator for like 2 weeks, and then died because nobody believed her. And they think that Black people are like seeking narcotics or whatever, but I can't believe you took the Hippocratic Oath and you can't look someone in the eye and just try to help them.
So there's you're saying that there's literally a sense that that a white physician might have, that this Black person does not feel the amount of pain that we feel, so I don't need to give them prescribe the really good Tylenol because they're not feeling what my white patient is feeling.
Correct. Or they just don't believe us. Maybe he thought I was lying about being on a motorcycle, but no, I'm trying real hard. 2020, I'm gonna be a badass. But it's been hard.
Yeah. Are you really riding a motorcycle these days?
Yes.
Wow.
I bought a motorcycle, but I truly only take it around my cul-de-sac because I was like, if I fall off again and I actually have to go to like a real hospital, COVID-19, I don't want that.
Right. Well, wear the helmet for God's sake.
Yes.
Even if you're going 20 yards, wear the helmet and wear the good jackets with the armor. Okay.
And I have armored pants now, so I don't.
Yeah. None of this riding around in Daisy Dukes. We'll talk about that later. Hey, I wanted to congratulate you because nailed it. You were nominated Critics' Choice Award for Female Star. That's really exciting.
It is exciting because I am a star, and I'm so glad that people are taking notice. No, I'm kidding. It's nice. It's really.
Well, you're not kidding. People love the show. You're so funny on the show, and it's connected you to this whole audience of. Kids. Adults love the show as well, but kids go crazy for your show. They love you, which is nice.
Really
you're speaking directly to all these young people. That's fantastic.
Thanks. I mean, I don't like kids. There's something about them. They got too many questions. They're sticky. Like a bunch of kids have been drawing pictures of me and like their parents are posting it on Twitter. And I'm like, this is bad. Why are you sending this to me? Keep this. I don't want this. We're already having a bad week. I don't want to look at your kids' ugly drawings. They're adorable.
You've got this great critically acclaimed show. People love it. It's a hit. You've got a huge kid fan base and you're going after kids. I love that. Only you would do that. I want to talk about your book. Congratulations. This book is very fat, very brave, and it is filled with amazing photographs. Really fantastic. I mean, you're photographer. Your poses are incredible.
Conan,
I love some of these. I mean, I love. There's a picture in here. I can't find it right now of you in front of an In-N-Out.
Oh yeah.
God, I love this picture. I love you.
Thank you.
Just, I mean, we've all been there. I've been in front of an In-N-Out in my leopard skin bikini, and this is really a great. What is your message? What is your message with Very Fat, Very Brave? Because the photographs alone are terrific, but I know that you're trying to accomplish a little more here.
A little bit. My friend Kim New Money took the pictures, and my friend Allison Rich was like, you should do a coffee table book. And I was like, okay. And then as I was writing it, I was like, it's so dumb that people call fat women brave for wearing bikinis. Right. So I was like, why don't I just make fun of that whole weird phenomenon? But I hope people read the book. I mean, it's a quick read. It's truly like you can read it in like an hour or two. But I hope people finish it and then go, why did I ever give a shit about what people think about me? Like, why did I ever care? If someone stares at me, that means my body disrupted their life enough that they needed to stop what they were doing to look at me. That means my body is powerful. Also, everybody is beautiful in its own way, and everybody is different. And the world is already like really, really hard. So why would you spend it hating what you see in the mirror? That's like an extra layer of misery.
Have you've always been, and I think it's a remarkable quality you have, but you're always so comfortable with yourself. And I'm curious, is that who you've always been, or did you have to get to that place?
I've always been pretty comfortable with myself. My mom used to call me Tina because I would scream a lot, like Tina Turner. And I would listen to Tina Turner and scream along to that. And I've always kind of marched to my own little drum beat. I don't know. It's more fun to just be like, figure out who you are and just be that. Why would spending time trying to be somebody else seems so exhausting and also crazy?
Yeah. No, I grew up not liking anything about myself.
But why, Conan? You're tall. That's luxurious. You have red hair. How exotic. You have all your teeth. What a treat.
Wait, okay. So you had 3 qualities you liked about me, and one of them was I have all my teeth. That did nothing. That did nothing to make me feel better. I want to ask you about, you're on a mission to get people to embrace spandex. Let's talk about that. Why? Why spandex?
Because spandex is your friend. Like if you hold something up and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna fit, pull it. If it has spandex, it probably does fit. Also, if it's too tight, who cares? People already know you're fat. If you wear bigger clothes, people will go, look at that fatty. If you wear tighter clothes, people will go, look at that fatty. What's the difference? Who cares? Just wear what you want.
So you think everyone should be wearing spandex?
Yes, Conan. I would like you to wear some spandex.
No.
Okay.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Come on, Conan. Put on some spandex.
Okay. Your logic, Nicole, your logic is just, it's too powerful. I say no and you say yes. And so I'm going to do it. Not happy with my body, and spandex is going to bum a lot of people out. So,
but it might make 3 people happy. That's more than no people.
You know what it would do? It would get laughs, which in our profession,
That's gold. We love laughs because we're sad people on the inside.
I don't think you are. I don't think you're.
No, I'm not. I'm very happy.
You have to check out this book. It's a great read, and also the pictures are fantastic. It's by Nicole. It's very fat, very brave, and a terrific book. Also, Nicole, you have a list of Black-owned bookstores. Is that right, that we want to put up?
Yeah, because it might be hard after the pandemic for Black-owned businesses to come back, especially since it's harder for us to get loans and whatnot. So now is the time to support. Yes. I also have a list of Black-owned restaurants, but I think it's only in LA in my bio too.
Okay. All right. Well, like I say, one of the things that I've been picking up just in the last 2 weeks of conversations is it's not about good. I did 3 things and now racism is gone. We all know that's not going to happen. It's about living life, being a little more present, being a little more aware, and doing the work every day in small ways, sometimes big ways, sometimes small ways. And supporting Black-owned businesses is huge.
Huge. It's a huge thing. If you find a Black-owned coffee shop in your neighborhood, go there instead of Starbucks. It's not that hard. It's minor adjustments that you can make in your life that will deeply impact someone else's life, because that Black-owned business can start generational wealth to give to their kids, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. They're also not going to be selling you a Kenny G CD up there.
No. You might get something more interesting. But I got to say, Kenny G, he got good hair. Right? Yeah. He's got the long hair with the saxophone.
He's got the long hair. Yeah. And he's fine. I've got no beef with him. I'm just saying, I don't think you're
Do you, Conan? Do you have beef with Kenny G?
Yes, I do. He took my woman.
Oh, no.
I made that up, but it could happen. My wife could run off with Kenny. It could happen.
I don't think so.
It is so nice to see you.
Wait, is that Abraham Lincoln behind you?
This is I've had an Abraham Lincoln up here for forever. I have a picture. It's the last photograph ever taken of him. It's a rare outdoor photograph of Abraham Lincoln.
Or you don't have no body?
What's that?
He doesn't have a body.
He had a body. They just didn't have an iPhone back then that caught everything. So So, whatever, I've got this place.
Conan, how are you? Has anyone asked how you're doing?
No, it hasn't really occurred to anybody to ask me how I'm doing.
How are you, Conan?
Well, I think the last 2 weeks has been hardest on me. And I think and I'm shocked you're the first person to notice it. You're the first person to reach out. But, that's how egotistical I am. I somehow thought Black Lives Matter was all about me. And I got confused. That's what an idiot I am.
And you're an ally who's learning.
Well, we all need to learn faster and more and faster. But, I'm doing great. And you know what? I'm very lucky because I'm very fortunate that I'm able to keep doing this thing that I do during this time of COVID and all of this unrest, and mostly because it gives me a lot of hope and joy. Like talking to you today, this is not a job. Touching base with you just makes me happy. You bring me a lot of joy. Every time you come on the show, you're so naturally funny, and you're such a beautiful spirit that seeing you today makes me happy. It just really makes me happy. So
Conan, thank you.
You're saving me right now, which is really what it's all about.
I love how this was a nice compliment that went right back to Conan.
I'm a genius at that. Let me hold this up again because I want to make sure people check it out. Very fat, very brave. Get this book. And Nicole, thank you so much for being here, and be well. And I can't wait to see you in person.
Samesies, Conan, I adore you. Honestly, it's a treat. What's that mean, Conan?
You and I have a chemistry.
What does that mean?
It just means it's undeniable. You get around me and I get around you, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you again, Conan. You're delightful.
All right, take care. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Bye, Conan.